You know, it's days like today that I realize the golden rule is called the golden rule for a reason. Hey, you, how's it going? How are you? Welcome to this, your Thursday edition of the show. Yeah, Thursday. You know, that means this time tomorrow you will have made it through yet another week. You're doing awesome. Hang in there. You got this. And it's not any old Thursday, is it? No. It's the Thursday that's taking you into your extended Christmas holiday weekend. And if you need something, if there's anything I can do for you to make your Thursday better, hit me up. I'm here with you. I'm here for you. At ADSXE. It's where you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at ADSXE. Put it in your phone now in case you need it later. So, still here in Macedonia with my father in the hospital, doing this into my phone in the hospital while my father is taking a little snooze after his most recent meal. And I had this dream, I had this hope, I had this sort of vision. And the vision was I would get my father in home for Christmas. I would get him on a plane. We would go from Skopje in Macedonia to Istanbul, Turkey. We would somehow navigate the enormous airport that is Istanbul Airport. We would get to the connecting flight. I would be in Los Angeles. I would land, touch down at LAX, wheels on the ground at 4:45 in the afternoon on Christmas Day. I would rush him to the hospital where I would be greeted by my sister, her brother, and my niece. And it wouldn't be the type of Christmas that we wanted. It's not the family holiday that you picture, but we would all be together. That was the goal. That was a shining hope. And, well, it looks like that's not going to happen. The medical transport company that was going to help me get my dad back to America, they bailed on me for some reason. Didn't really understand. Bit of a language barrier. But they canceled last minute. So I did some scrambling. I think I found an alternative. Spent a lot of time on the phone and writing emails yesterday. And, well, I think I found someone to get us there, or to help get us there, to be there in case of an emergency. And, well, we're going to fall a little short. End up in town a couple days after Christmas. But you know what? While it's not what I pictured, it'll be good. Things don't often work out the way you plan or exactly the way you want it. Things don't often land in your lap the way you pictured them. But I'll never forget watching Conan O'Brien's last show. And it's a weird thing to have stick in your mind. But Conan O'Brien's last show, doing the Tonight Show, before he left to kind of blaze his own trail, he said, nobody really gets what they want in this world, but if you work really hard and you're kind, amazing things can happen. And so I'm just focusing on that, I suppose. I'm focusing on that. I've said it a bunch of times, and I think I say it to myself even more, but I'm just focusing on putting one foot in front of the next and trying to move forward. My father used to talk about this a lot. When his mom passed away, it was very, very difficult for his dad. They'd built a life and a family and a home together. They'd spent every day for years and years together. And they were very, very much in love, my grandparents. And so I think a lot of the time you look at an older couple, and it's not uncommon for one to pass away and the other to follow. People call it dying of a broken heart. And my father said he'd wondered if that would happen to his dad. And it didn't take long for him to figure out that his father, while he was devastated by the loss of his wife, his father had made up his mind that you carry on. That's what you do. And you keep putting one foot in front of the other. And this too, whatever this is, shall pass. And that's exactly what my grandfather did. That's exactly what my father brought up over and over again. I was glad my dad saw that. I think it was inspiring to him as he figured out what he wanted to do with his life and where he wanted to go and how he wanted to live after my parents split up. And, well, he's brought it up enough times that I knew it was important to him, and it kind of stuck in my brain. you keep moving forward, whatever it is. Whatever the situation, you keep moving forward. So that's, I guess, what I'm trying to do. Kind of honor my dad's words of wisdom that he passed down to me after seeing how my grandfather found a way to carry on after a devastating situation. That's all you can do sometimes. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. The other thing you can do that I'm finding, especially now, is really helping a lot, is to treat people how you want to be treated. That's why they call it the golden rule. And I think every religion has their own version of this, whether it's creating good karma for yourself, as the Buddhists believe, whether it's casting bread onto the waters and watching it come back to you, and do unto others, and all of the above. I'm not an especially spiritual guy, but that rings true every step of the way. And what's making me think this today is a really nice message that I got from a guy called Keith, who said, AD, I know you wanted people to share their problems on the show so you could talk them through, but I wanted to share a problem that you already helped with. He said, when I first heard you on the radio, my first impression was like, what the hell is this guy's deal? I did this thing. After 17 years, I'm no longer on your radio, but I do this thing every day on the podcast, and I will continue to do it, where I open the show a certain way. It's Wednesday. You're halfway through the week. You're doing awesome. Hang in there. You got this. It's Thursday. This time tomorrow, you're going to be letting sweet freedom ring. I guess I kind of count down the days of the week, and I kind of encourage you to get where you're going and congratulate you for how far you've come. And I know a lot of people who have told me they would kind of set their watch to that they would make sure they were in the car ready to hear that as they were getting ready to make their way home because, well, it did something for them, which is awesome. It's so unbelievably gratifying to hear that. And Keith said something along the lines of, when I first heard you say that, I was like, what is this guy's deal? What's his problem? Mr. Nice Guy over here. And then he said he started looking forward to it. And then he said he became one of those people that sort of set his watch to it, made sure he was in the car to hear it because it had become a bright spot in his day. That's all I ever wanted to do. That's all I ever wanted to do on the radio or with this podcast, is to keep you company when you need it. If I can brighten your day a little bit, mission accomplished. And Keith took it one step further. He said, I know you want to discuss people's problems on the air, but I wanted to tell you about a problem of mine that you already solved. He said that eventually he started looking forward to hearing what I was saying. And then something that I think is kind of magical happened. He said, I didn't necessarily have the greatest relationship with some of the people that I worked with, but I got into hearing you say stuff like that. Hang in there. You got this. You're doing awesome. Hey, you're halfway through the week. And I started saying that to people around the office. It meant something to me, and it completely changed my dynamic with my coworkers. I went from being at odds with them to having them know that I was on their side. When I read this message from Keith, I was kind of floored. I wanted to, kind of brighten your day. I wanted to encourage you, like I said, congratulate you for how far you've come and encourage you for the rest of the race that you've got to run during the week. But it didn't occur to me that people would start saying something similar to the people in their world. And he said it changed the dynamic between him and his coworkers, and that floored me because, that's extra frosting on top of an already very satisfying big fat sweet cake. That's awesome. And it reminded me of why I say this. Look, I want to brighten your day. I want to keep you company. I want to try and take something like your commute or something of that nature that you maybe dread or maybe bums you the hell out, and make it something that you could possibly look forward to. I want to turn that frown upside down for you. And I want to do that because knowing I do that makes me feel good. If I've got a frown, turns it upside down for me. But I think the reason I started saying that at the beginning of my show was because at the time, I think I started saying that in the depths of COVID, when everything was a tremendous slog, when people didn't know which way was up and which way was down. And just doing that thing, while there was a giant question mark hanging over all of our lives, just doing that thing of putting one foot in front of the other was all we could do at some points. And it wasn't easy. And I think I started saying that because, well, it was something that I wished people would be saying to me. And I'm not being all boo-hoo about it, but I was like, day in, day out, not knowing where we're going. This is really, really tough. This is difficult. And, well, man, okay, it's Monday. Here we go. Let's do this. It's a new day. It's a new week. I'm going to put a positive light on this. And I would say that on the radio. Wednesday. All right. Halfway there. Friday. You made it. Let sweet freedom ring, AD. Good job. You made it through another one. You're still going. On Monday, it didn't feel like you could make it to the end of the week, and yet you're here. This is how I was feeling. And so I started saying it to you. I started telling you what I wish somebody would tell me. And, well, a couple magical things happened. First and foremost, I noticed people started repeating it back to me. People would send me messages saying, thank you. Thank you for the encouragement. Thank you. I make sure that I'm in my car to listen to this because it really makes a difference. And I hope that you're doing all right. And if there's anything I can do for you. And all of a sudden, as I was sort of like treating people how I wanted to be treated, I was being treated that way. And not only that, a guy like Keith, who took some of those words, recognized how they made him feel and started using them around the office, well, he was able to change his dynamic with his coworkers. It's an extremely valuable thing. And I'm not saying that because it's something I did. I'm saying that because it's something that I think maybe we all need to be reminded of. It's called the golden rule for a reason. Every form of religion and spirituality has its own version of it. Do unto others. Treat people how you want to be treated. Good karma, casting bread on the waters. All of it is the same thing. And it's a universal truth that everyone around the world, every religion, every piece of spirituality, every culture has some version of this. Why? It really is that golden rule. And I found it works. Now, we've also found through Keith that you don't have to be a big mouth on the radio for this to work for you. And look, I feel like we've come a long way since COVID started. But as we make our way into the cold and flu season, as we hear about whatever the hell new variant is popping up this week, there's still this giant question mark hanging over all of us. We just don't know what is going on in the world. And it can feel so easy. It can be so easy to feel completely helpless in the face of it all, to feel like your life is completely spinning out of control, to feel like you've got absolutely no chance of affecting how your day goes. And you know what? The big issues, the world issues, the politics, the religion, the COVID situation, the things that affect all of us every single day, the things that weigh heavy on all of our minds, the things that every news channel screams at us for, the things that every piece of clickbait tries to scare us with. Scare us to the point where we click on it and go, oh no, what piece of horribleness is waiting around the corner. All that is massive and looming, and it's present and it's there all the time, and it can make you feel like you are completely out of control, and that sucks. But there is something you can control, and that's how you treat the people around you. And look, it's not a magic bullet. It doesn't work every single time. If you're nice to someone, if you say, hey, it's Wednesday, awesome job, you already made it through the week, they might be like, yeah, so F you, I'm busy. 6 feet, please. And maybe use up a little less of my time with your nonsense. It's not going to work every single time, but you do have the ability to affect the way the world reacts to you by observing that golden rule, by treating people how you want to be treated. And it's amazing because it's such a fundamental piece of life. It's something that we've talked about over and over again for years. It's something that's been drilled into our consciousness since before we can remember. But it's still something we forget. It's still something that we need to be reminded of occasionally. I kind of made a good habit of it by doing it every single day on your radio. I think a big part of the reason why I wanted to continue this podcast was because people said they wanted to keep hearing that. There might be people that listen to that, the first 10 seconds of the show, and go, all right, I'm good. What's he running his mouth about? Who cares? But I got what I needed. And that's fine. That's great. But I set up a good habit of doing that every single day because it became a part of my show. And I cannot tell you the difference that has made in my life. I don't know if you remember this. If you've been listening to the radio station that I used to be on, 94.5 The Buzz in Houston, or any of the 50 or so other stations that I was on up until a week or so ago, you may recall that, I grew up on the air. 17 years. I started off when I was a snotty, obnoxious punk rock kid with a vicious sense of humor that I still have. But, well, it took some time for me to grow out of, I hate to say this, I can't believe I'm saying this because my life has been based on being wildly immature for so long. My career, my profession has been based on being so wildly immature for so long. But I think I kind of grew out of that. And not only that, I didn't want to be misunderstood. No matter how snarky and vicious my sense of humor was in the past, I just wanted to brighten your day. I wanted to give you a reason to smile. I wanted to make you happy. I wanted to keep you company the way radio had kept me company. And I found that oftentimes when I was, a little more razor sharp with what I was doing on the air, I found that people called me a shock jock, did not care for that. And I also found that I was misunderstood because, like I said, all I ever wanted to do was keep you company and give you a reason to smile. So I kind of grew out of that, and I sort of turned into whatever the hell it is I am now over that period of years. Treat people how you want to be treated. It's something that we are, like I said, barraged with from the day we're born. Yet it's still easy to forget. So I wanted to remind you because Keith reminded me. It makes a huge difference. And if you're feeling like you're struggling, if you're out of control, if you feel like you are running uphill and running out of steam fast, I have to tell you, it won't be a magic bullet. You won't always see it coming. But if you treat people how you want to be treated, if you say things to other people that you would like to hear, if you try and affect your world by being awesome to the people around you every single day, it will, and I promise you this, it will come back to you. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for being a part of my radio family. As always, this time that you and I spend together, it's the best part of my day every single day. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll do it all over again. Have a great one. Later.